Thoughts on Rise of Skywalker? To be honest, right now, thinking about it, I would give it a 5 or a 6 at this very moment. Maybe my feelings might change after watching it again, or maybe watching the entire trilogy again. But god damn! So much happened in that movie that it's all kind of hard to remember what happened in the movie. Oh yeah, and this is probably going to be a spoiler discussion if anyone's curious, because I don't think I can say too much to give my full thoughts without having to say without spoilers. But I'll try and say as much as I can without having to say spoilers. So, first, the visuals. The visuals and like the acting are all pretty good. Like there's no one's performance that I really hated. The person that plays Ray and all the main characters, they do a pretty good job. And the visuals are pretty good. Like I like seeing the lightsabers. This new generation of lightsabers is really cool. Trilogy. The lasers, the blasters, they all get better. From the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy to this trilogy, they all look really good. Especially now. Even though, like, yeah, the space battles are all, like, special effects and everything for the most part, it's like, if you look at the cockpits of, like, everything, it's like, they probably built a little replica of it and then probably put some CGI to make it look good. So yeah, that's like really good. And let's see. What can I say about the story? The story is a very big mess. That's the first thing I can say about it. This trilogy has been a mess. You can feel that they didn't plan this out. Ah, man. It's so weird. How do you not plan this out? This entire trilogy. It's it's like each one they started from scratch. Like only keeping a few ideas from the last movie so they could just that they were like saying there's some good ideas in this other movie, but let's like take those and expand on them or erase them. So much happened in this movie. That's so weird. Like I felt like I watched two movies in one movie. So, I'm about to get into spoilers. But yeah, that's the like three things I have to say without spoilers that were just think was good to serviceable. The effects look decent to pretty good, and the story is a mess. And I've just thought, like, if you look at this entire plot, you'll probably be like, why is that happening? Or Damn, that's really lucky that that happened. You'll see all these things and just be kind of like, it's like, okay, that happened. So, yeah, those are the three main points that I had for non spoilers. Now I'm gonna probably go scene by scene if I can remember everything. But probably won't be able to remember everything since so much happened in this movie. Like, so much. Oh my god. Because, as I said, almost two movies happened in this. Okay. So, the first thing to happen in the movie is you get the crawl. The classic Star Wars crawl that happens in every movie. And basically, it dumps that during the text crawl, it tells you about the rebels surviving, them regrouping, making their forces up, and then it tells you that the emperor survived, or the emperor's like sending out a signal message telling everyone about what he's going to do, just a little emergency thing or kind of a warning to everyone about his uh rise back to power, and how Kylo Ren is basically trying to find where he is, basically going around killing to try and figure out where the Emperor is. So, with him on that killing spree, he goes to a planet and finds a Sith holocron, kind of like Sith Sith cultist, or just people that support Sith supporters. Anyway, there, even though there's like, it looks like there's kind of millions of them, because you see a lot of ships which look like they can hold maybe a couple of hundred of thousands of soldiers. It was more than just a few thousand. Anyway, after that you go to like Poe and Finn, and they're just like doing a mission to this planet, space station, something. Anyway, they go there. They get information that there's a spy among the First Order. That they do a cool escape, kill a couple of TIE fighters, and then they go back go back to the headquarters of the rebels. And anyway, you cut back to Rey, and she's training with Leia. Apparently, Leia is like taught enough basics of being a Jedi, even though like I'm pretty sure in one of the last two movies, I have to go rewatch them to figure this out, but I'm pretty sure they said that she was like going to train or was just like partially trained, but she's like good enough trained to where she can train someone else. Anyway, after that, oh yeah, they decode the message by the spy telling them that the First Order basically is in contact with the Emperor, and that they should do something to try and stop the Emperor. That's the plan that they come up with, but they don't know where the Emperor is. They have to. They like hear some coordinates. I'm trying to remember exactly. To find. Like, they hear about the planet that he's on, and it's like off their solar maps, whatever. And so to look for it in a book, because apparently since it's like a Sith planet that they're on, Luke apparently had some books on it that could tell them where or how to find this planet. So it tells them they have to find the Sith holocron thing, Pathfinder. And so they go. The book tells them that there's only two of the Pathfinders that can lead them to the planet, that tells them the exact coordinates on how to get to that planet. They go to this new desert planet. I know, like a third, fourth desert planet in this series. They go to the desert planet. Basically, all four of the main characters, five, six, depending if you want to count the droids. You get Rey, you get Finn, you get Poe, and you get Chewbacca with the two droids. Nah, three droids, because BB-8's in there too, since he's the new cute droid. Anyway, they all go to the desert planet. There's a festival going on. That's not a big deal. They go there, and do you know who they find? They find Lando. Yay, Lando. Introduced into this new trilogy at the very end. Anyway, they talked to him about how they were following a Sith supporter from years ago who was collecting Sith stuff. So he points them in the direction of the guy's ship so they can go check it out. And they go to his ship, but first they're chased because this thing that they've been hinting to a few times during the last two movies, force power, where Rey and Ben Kylo Ren are basically connected and have like a portal power, where it's like if they feel their connection is strong, they can pull things through the field, through the portal. Anyway, that power happens. uh Kylo takes a necklace from Rey. They're able to tell where they are, what planet, and then they're chased. They kill all the stormtroopers chasing them, and then they get to the ship. Rey does a cool backflip and slashes Kylo's TIE fighter and makes it crash. Somehow that lets Kylo survive, even though that thing crashed into dust. While she's going to deal with Kylo, uh, Chewie wanted to follow her to tell her to get back on the ship because the guys all wanted to leave. And then Kylo's minions capture Chewbacca. And after they capture Chewbacca, they put him on a ship. But here's the thing, there's two ships. Anyway, after Kylo survives his crash, he he comes out and sees one of his ships flying away, but Ray is pulling on it with the Force, and Kylo then starts pulling it with the Force or pushing it. It's kind of hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure he's pulling it towards himself. And so when they're doing this Force battle, Ray accidentally blasts it with lightning, which destroys the ship and makes you think Chewbacca died because he got on the ship. But no, there were two ships. Anyway, that Ray and the main characters escape. They leave, and then so then they have a moment where they're like Chewbacca's dead, and whatever, as like he's not dead. He's alive. We see he's alive, but they think he's dead. Apparently they interrogate him and don't get any information out of him. And for Kylo, uh okay, no wait. I'm getting a little mixed up. Basically, they're all torn up. That they don't know too much about what they're going to do now. I forgot they Kylo got the knife that they were looking for because apparently the the like hunter, the Sith supporter that they were looking for died. So with him being dead, apparently his knife that he had on him had the coordinates for where the Pathfinder holocron thing was. And so with that in Kylo's hands and not in their hands, they basically take C3PO, who was able to look at the knife before it was taken by Kylo. Oh no, that Poe takes them to the new planet because he knows someone that can look into C3PO's database and make him say what the language is, because apparently C3PO can't say it because Sith language is is like restricted and they can't say it. So they take him to this new planet. We meet a new character, supposed to be a badass female uh warrior that has a history with Poe. We don't learn much about her, but anyway, Ray kind of beats her ass, and then she agrees to help them uh take them to the droid person. So they meet up with the droid person. The droid person says some comedic stuff because it's a little cute alien. And with that, uh, they're getting into 3PO's mind, and they say that doing this will completely reset his memory, and that if when they do it, he won't remember anything from anything. So that they say a line that's like R2D2 has like backups on him, and then he's like, "Oh, but R2D2 is kind of unreliable with this kind of stuff, even though he probably is completely reliable." He says his goodbye to them, making it seem like as if he's gone or dead, at least his mind. And then they reset his thing. They make him say it, He says exactly where they have to go. And while all this is happening, uh, the First Order has come down onto their planet, started raiding all the houses in the city. You learn a little bit of the history of Poe and the warrior chick that I don't even remember because they didn't even say her name that much, on how they're kind of in love. So, while that is, she gives them a First Order captain's log identification thing, where basically any ship that has that will be identified as a captain and as a friendly. So with that thing, they take their ship and go to the First Order uh cruiser that's right above their city. And while they go up to the ship, Kylo Ren just went down to the city. So, with Kylo Ren at the bottom, searching the city for them, that they just got up there and are kind of not sneaking into the ship to rescue Chewbacca, steal the knife. And yeah, they basically go in there, guns ablazing. They kill quite a few stormtroopers. They go to where the Death knife is actually a protractor of a sort, and somehow this protractor is used to look at this damaged Death Star to tell exactly where the piece of this holocron pathfinder thing is at, which is like dumb considering like nobody could have predicted that the Death Star was gonna blow up and that it's where they would put it. Like, how would anyone know that's the exact place on the broken Death Star to find it? Anyway, Rey travels to that exact spot where the protractor said. She's able to get in, but right as she's about to grab the thing, stuff starts happening with the force. Like right after she grabs it, she sees a dark image of herself as a dark Jedi with dual blade, and it just kind of scares her, like how she doesn't want to be that, and then its face turns evil, scaring her and making her kind of fall over, wanting to get out of there and not see anything more. Anyway, she falls to get out of that room and drops it. And do you know who's there? Kylo Ren. He somehow snuck aboard the ship without anyone noticing. Anyway, he takes it and then destroys it and says the only way that she'll make it to the planet where Palpatine, the Emperor, is on, if she joins him. And she's not gonna join him. So anyway, they chase each other for a bit, and then they have a lightsaber battle. They fight for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, somewhere around there. And during the fight, uh, Finn Finn and his new girlfriend, stormtrooper person, come and try and help, but Rey doesn't want help, so she like force pushes Finn away and fights Kylo. And during the battle, uh, Leia is apparently dying during the battle, so they both feel that is happening. But while Kylo's like processing that, Rey kind of just stabs him, being like you feeling a little too much, and or so, and he tells her to anyway. Uh, Ray Ray starts to go go to where Palpatine is, and she starts transmitting signals of where she's going by following the Pathfinder holocron, and she sends them to the Rebel HQ. So now the rebels know exactly where to go in the portal kind of map. So they don't have to worry about being destroyed on the path to get there. So Ray finally gets to the planet where Palpatine the Emperor is on. She goes down into his giant cavern area, and while that's happening, the Alliance is planning to destroy the navigation systems and try and destroy the fleet that Palpatine has in his control. So they basically go there, destroy the navigation thing as Poe commander, and they're basically running on hope that people are going to help them. They have like a small force of ships to try and destroy this thing, and they're relying on hope that people will want to come and help them. So while they're trying to destroy the nav things, she finally gets to gets down there to meet Palpatine, and she's talking to him. Oh yeah, and there's little flashes of Kylo because he's still on the Death Star planet, thinking about everything he's done and considering that Rey helped him. He's like, is this the right path to go on? And basically, Han Solo is there, kind of just telling him that he's still good, and that it's never too late to make the right choice. The rebel pilots are doing a pretty good job, but they're just not able to do enough damage and destroy everything that they need to, because there's just not enough ships and they're being overwhelmed. Talking to Palpatine on how she's not evil, how she's not the Sith, and that her parents did everything to protect her, like abandon her, was all for protection. And Palpatine says how he killed them because they wouldn't listen to him. Rey's just there just having the debate off with Palpatine. Kylo is then shown coming to the planet in his new TIE fighter. It looks like an old one, but it could be a new one. I can't remember exactly what it looked like. Anyway, he makes it onto the planet. He's like sneaking in, murdering stormtroopers as he goes along, and he's almost there to Palpatine and Rey's area, but then his like high class minions come in to try and stop him, and like they start beating the shit out of him, and before they can kill him, what's it called, that they do their portal force power where like Kylo puts his hand behind his back as if hiding it, and Rey puts her lightsaber behind her back, and basically they do the power so Kylo can grab the lightsaber and take it, and then he uses that to kill all the minions that he was fighting. And then Rey turns on her lightsaber because she had two lightsabers. She had Leia's and she had Luke's. She kills basically all the guards protecting the Emperor. And basically Rey and Kylo meet up, and then they both confront the Emperor together. While that's happening, finally reinforcements come in to help the rebel after everything was looking like they lost, losing a ton of people. Poe was about to give up hope, but then nah, civilians and other ships come in to try and destroy the fleet, and they start destroying a bunch of the ships under the final orders. So anyway, when Palpatine sees Kylo and Ren, uh, no, Kylo and Rey, he like gets mad that they're trying to work together as Jedi. He does like a force life steals life force from both of them, and then basically is healthy-ish again, where he's not on life support anymore and he can like walk by himself. Anyway, with that, he goes onto his seat as the ruler, and there's all these like thousands of minions just surrounding his thing, all watching him and watching the battle that happens between Rey, Kylo, and the Emperor. And they're all just cheering the Emperor now. So with the Emperor seeing like his team losing, he uses Force Lightning, which is like the absolute strongest Force Lightning ever. He is like literally a Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha, but with Force Lightning. It destroys a bunch of the rebels, and it looks like they're about to lose hope. But then, Kylo is thrown into a pit because he gets up, disturbs the Emperor for a second, and then basically all these people start cheering. Oh no, all the Jedi start cheering Rey from the afterlife, and they start telling her that she can do it, and basically you hear a lot of old voices, new voices, all telling her that she's good, that she's a Jedi. She stands back up. She has one lightsaber, and then Palpatine starts blasting her with lightning, but it can't get through that one saber. While she's doing that, they keep talking about how Palpatine's so much better. And then Rey uses the Force to pull Kylo's lightsaber, because that was Luke's lightsaber, but she pulled it to her, and now she's dual wielding lightsabers, and basically with two lightsabers now she's able to deflect the lightning, which makes no goddamn sense. But the deflected lightning hits the Emperor, even though as soon as the lightning hit him, he should have stopped doing lightning and probably did a different power. And anyway, that disintegrates the Emperor. That full blast of lightning kills the Emperor. Unfortunate. And so after that, the Resistance rebels are able to destroy the fleet, whatever. The fleet's gone. And with the fleet gone and everything, it's basically happy ending. Happy ending. Everyone's winning. Except for what is going on with Kylo and Rey. After that, I'm not gonna give up moment and saying how she is the Jedi. Palpatine was saying, I am the Sith. She is the Jedi. Falls over and dies for a few seconds. Kylo comes out to try to wake her up, thinking that she's just knocked out, but she's like kind of dead. Anyway, with that, he uses the Force healing power that Rey did on him earlier, and it works. It gets her heart beating again. And with that, they kiss, and Kylo falls over and dies, which I find is weird. I guess he used up his life force to save her. I have no idea. Because I would have guessed that Rey went through a lot more than Kylo, but yet somehow lived. Anyway, Kylo dies, and then his body disappears while showing headquarter base of the rebels, showing that Leia's body disappeared too, both in the Force. And so that is it, aside from one or two little things. Rey, that they celebrate with they did it just like every other Star Wars movie. When they win, they celebrate, fireworks, everything. Rey heads to Luke's planet that he was in New Hope, Tatooine. And there she goes back to his original home, and then buries his lightsaber and Leia's lightsaber. And then there's this woman that comes out of nowhere and be's like, there's no one that's lived in this home for years. And she asks, who are you, to Rey. And Rey says, I'm Rey Skywalker. Basically, she got adopted into the family of Skywalker. That is it for Star Wars. I think that taken me an hour, but oh boy. This movie is not no masterpiece. I can tell you that much. Not no masterpiece at all. So, yeah, that story was a mess. First mission to figure out if there was a spy was completely useless. Like, it helped set up everything in the beginning, but the the part about there being a spy in the First Order was totally useless because he told them where Palpatine was, but then the information wasn't even that helpful because they had to find all this other stuff to try and find where Palpatine was. With that, we find out that the spy was the guy that was against Kylo for the past two movies because he just doesn't want Kylo to win. He wants Kylo to lose, even though the First Order would probably lose if Kylo lost. And then he's murdered by the general that's also on that ship with him. So he's killed off quickly and really doesn't make much of an impact aside from letting the heroes escape that one time, which is like I don't know what it's called. Is it Deus Ex Machina or is it a MacGuffin? It's something, but it's like his betrayal of the First Order was so goddamn random. Like, I knew there was a spy because they said it was, but it's like him, the guy that they had for two movies that worked for the First Order and tried to actually destroy the rebels, like, traitor, and then boom, he's dead with no significance aside from letting the heroes live. And then there's like, damn, there's so many characters in this movie that get introduced just to get killed, or not to get killed, but to not have that much screen time. Because we get two new females that each male main character gets to get close with. Poe gets the bounty hunter warrior chick that they had a past history with. And Finn gets the ex-stormtrooper chick. Both get a female that that kind of to their liking with a similar background to them. And then there's Kylo's minions that's like you don't hear any words from them from what I can remember. You don't hear anything from them. Maybe you hear one or two yes sir or can do that sir. Nothing anything serious. And then they're just killed at the last act. Like they weren't even that tough. Kylo killed them and they didn't even have any chance to show off their skills by like killing any heroes or any just random rebel soldiers. They didn't even get to do that. The only thing that these minions did was that they tracked the heroes, but they didn't even track the heroes that good. They just they just kind of tracked like barely, barely just enough to tell Kylo and the First Order what planet they were on. And then it's like I did not like how they had to find this knife. Okay, they go to find the Pathfinder holocron thing, and then it turns out that they can't find that, so they have to look at this knife that somehow has the coordinates on it. Like, who like scratches in the coordinates to an object that you want or an high valued object onto your possessions? Like, who does that? Are you telling me you're going to write on your car or on your knife that my laptop is over there, or that my golden ring is in these coordinates or these directions? No, you're not going to write that on your valuables to get to other valuables. Anyway, that they have to get the knife, and then they lose the knife. They have to go to the droid so they can reset C3PO's memory and get the code. They get the code and whatever from C3PO. They follow the directions. They go to the Death Star and finally get the thing. And with the Path holocron thing, she finally goes to the Emperor, and boom, there. It took like what, 3, 4 destinations to finally get to the Emperor. It's like they were so unneeded. Whew. It's like, god damn, that was such a mess. And then there were like all these little no named rebel people that maybe you care about if you checked out the comics or whatever, but I don't care about the comics. My thoughts on Rise of the Skywalker. I still think this is a 6 to a 5. My rating is going to go down and up the more I think about it. But yeah, it was okay movie. Like, it wasn't great. I I like enjoyed it as a popcorn flick, but it's like everything else was just so weird about it. The story was like really weird about like everything that happens. Like I thought Kylo was going to survive and redeem himself for everything. He only got one action to redeem himself. One or two actions depending on what you want to say. Battling and healing. I say those are probably his only two things that he was able to redeem. I thought it was going to be her and Rey surviving and then making the world a better place. But nah, he dies. That's my rating of a 5 to a 6. I mean, go watch the movie, figure out if you guys like it. But it's like, it was an okay movie to a like mediocre movie to me. There was nothing horrible about it, but it's certainly not great. I liked it, but could have been better. Anyway, I hope to see you guys next time. I just really had to review this movie because it got so many feelings out of me. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.